Beautiful. All right, we are live on Facebook. I'm going to go ahead. Stuff that we want to talk with you about. My name is Ryan Tyler Palmer, and I am your WordNerd. I love all geeky faces. We want to talk about comic industry and my passion work today. We've got some great subjects to talk about, and we've got some great content to talk about. We're going to talk about the studio, we're going to talk about Paper Scenes 8, and we are going to talk about comic industry opinions. And that's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to kick it off with that. As far as comic industry opinions, you know, everybody has them. Everybody has them, obviously, and so we're just going to dig right into that. I have very strong opinions about it. I'm not very vocal about it unless I have a live and I have a specific agenda to talk about. And it's never targeted towards any one thing or a label. We have to view people as a whole, regardless of the labels they put on themselves or the personas they put online. People need to be judged and held accountable individually. And if we don't do that, then people are allowed to wrap these bites of shit sandwich up in all of these truths and then feed it to you all. If they're not held accountable for what they do right and what they do wrong separately and as an individual, then you get caught into these banners and you're basically from any level, like it's done universally, like you get caught in these like comic book cults or these patty back groups that congratulate each other and support each other so that they can sell books. And a lot of times I've seen sub-quality books, either story or artwork or both. And so let's get right into it. You know, the reason for this live stream today is to talk about my crowdfund, of course, but I came to this revelation when I was thinking about the comic book industry myself, about Stan Lee and why he was great. And it's the idea that I presented in a previous live stream about Legacy Genesis, which is not a pretentious thing. Legacy Genesis represents the potential that everybody has within them to be great, if you can just get on that path and make those decisions that will eventually get you there. And so it's a message of hope that we all have that potential within us, and nobody can identify that moment until you become great. People look back and look at it, but being able to identify these moments where you're inspired in your life and these things that have set something in motion that you feel can be great, that's the idea behind Legacy Genesis, and recognizing it before it comes to its full potential. And so nobody knew that Stan Lee was going to be great when he created Fantastic Four. I mean, Marvel was failing. This was a moment in time that allowed him to create this comic book legacy, and nobody would have known it at the time. The only reason why I got the opportunity is because the doors were closing, and that may not have come to pass. All these things lined up and made it happen, and being able to recognize opportunity in your life, and being able to recognize these moments and make the right decisions is what it's all about. Legacy Genesis, once it starts something great. Uh, and so Stan Lee is great. He came from a time, excuse me, he came from a time and a place that was grounded very much in reality. His time period when he started creating uh, was a time of um, where fantasy had not, in comic books, had not fully taken hold, and it was very well grounded in reality. And then he created fantasy and science fiction. And now, after this legacy has happened, we have social media. Everybody is very aware of what everybody else is doing. Um, we're not easily surprised. So people are constantly trying to outdo themselves because we've seen so much that that people are trying to outdo that, and it's turned into this slander fest where people are trying to socially smash somebody else so hard that they get a reaction and it's working. People like that drama and like to see that from the safety of their home and then witness it, and then they choose to support it because it's entertaining. And hatred has become entertaining for that reason. And it's and looking at the projects out there, not everybody, but I've looked at a lot of the projects, and it seems like not only is it popular, but it's working. People feel like that's more important to a cause than the actual work. We're getting subpar uh, writing and artwork, and again, this is not aimed specifically at any one person. It's as in at the comic industry as a whole. Like, we need to look at ourselves and our quality of work, and charismatic people with money can do terrible work if it's marketed correctly, and people who do good work and quality work may not have a social media presence or the charisma to be able to back it up, and you see those projects fail, and it's hard, and it's a part of life. We all have to find our own way, but I've seen a lot of that. Now we're getting into projects um, from people with skewed sense of reality, okay, and it's influenced by fake social media personalities, i.e., I've seen thousands and thousands of dollars thrown at these projects, and the published work is not even a complete story. It is. I've seen it influenced by a hateful industry comment, and the book is completely themed with it, and thousands of dollars go to these type of projects. And I mean, I'm not saying don't support what you like, um, but seeing seeing projects fueled with hate campaigns being sold to people, and people throwing large amounts of money at it for something that, when all of this irons itself out, whatever direction it goes in, that's going to be that person's representation of their work. And after everybody figures it out, hopefully people figure it out fucking soon, like what it's all about and the real reasons behind our market struggle. That's what that person's work's going to be. That's their representation, something that was a parody of social media life, which isn't real life anyway. Uh, that's what's going to be put in your hands. And is anybody going to look back on that and remember that as a moment, especially something with subpar artwork? Something that I don't like personally, as far as like the style and the quality of the artwork is below standard for me. Do we want that to be a representation of that person's work, even if it was their debut comic book, rather than be remembered for something great or something that was a story that meant a lot to them? It's it's a mockery of a social media life that is not reality. And you can see the difference. A story that's based with someone who's grounded in reality first, and then gets into science fiction, fantasy, and creates this world from it, something we can relate to. That makes a good story. And anybody who's ever done that, you can go right down the list, has made an impact. Whereas anything that's based on something that's completely fake, or a trend, or something, it's just like the trends, they die off and people will never remember them. I mean, maybe somebody will, but I wouldn't personally, because I'm about the work. I care about good storytelling, and something that's based off of a trend or a hate campaign, or something that's based in a social media world, which is not a reality. That is not reality. People's online social media personalities are not reality. That's a projection of themselves and people being entertaining to the best of their ability, whether they're succeeding or failing, whatever it is that they're doing. And then you base it off of that, your writing and your work, and it's not grounded in something that's heartfelt. It's grounded in something that's that comes from emotion in the moment. And so there's a big difference between those two things. It has to be about the work. I can tell if a story is driven with love of the title, or if it is driven with money or capitalism or hatred. I mean, can you tell the difference between that? I mean, if that's whatever it is that you're supporting, make sure that it's about something good and quality and something that we can look forward and say, hey, I'm glad I backed that project because it's a beautiful project. And so just make sure you're doing that, people. Make sure it's about something meaningful. So we're going to get right into this. I'd like to talk a little bit about my crowdfund. As you can see, we are a little bit behind. Hayward Saints 8 Federal Offensive Responders Issue 1. We've got 3 days to go. This is a modern title about this is a modern take on Fantastic Four meets Watchmen, set in a pre-post-apocalyptic world being covertly ravaged by a supernatural divine war. And so we've got this government tactical unit, Hayward Saints 8, that's going to be fighting this supernatural divine war. And we get into a lot of philosophical character dialogue based on good and evil, which good and evil in the book is represented by the two divine halves, good and evil, the underworld, and the Guardian Hall. And the two sides never directly interact with the mortals. They just influence from the outside, and so the characters are fighting, and mortals are fighting this battle for all of creation, based on the influence of one side or the other. And it's a metaphor for decisions that we make every day as far as good and evil, and us witnessing it every day. And then we get to do it with sci-fi, fantasy, supernatural monsters and creations and apparitions and beings from other planets and technology. And we get to do some beautiful fantasy writing. I get to flex my poetry muscle in this through one of the characters, through Marshall Trainer, who's Ultra Ghost, which is very cool. I would never release poetry on my own, but from the point of view of the hero and based in this story world, it's a lot of fun to write. That it gives me a lot of content to build poetry from, and so I end up inserting it. And there's stuff from my novel in there as well, that's in the pages of the comics. We've got a 4-issue series. We're looking to fund issue 1 here, and the subsequent issues are stretch goals. And realistically, I'm behind. I would like to get 1 issue done. The chances of getting the entire graphic novel funded are slim to none, virtually statistically impossible. But we would like to get 1 issue done and put my boys to work. They're my friends. They're artists on the title, very talented, and we'd like to get them paid and get this book out. And I can promise you that this isn't contrived horseshit that's riding a hate train. It's the hate train. It's my contribution to popular culture. It's a group title with characters that are built from my love of popular culture and science fiction and fantasy, things I love about entertainment done my own way. And when I see something that I don't like in entertainment, or if I see something that's done subpar to what I feel quality-wise it could have been or should have been, rather than go out and create this hate campaign and try to get sympathy likes for my opinions and use whatever charisma that I have. I'm not saying that I have it, but I've seen people do this to hawk books that don't have heart in them. That might be very well drawn. It might have one aspect of it very well drawn, but terribly done, and the story premise is terrible, or an ugly character, which is, again, just personal opinion. But when I see those things, I don't lash out and pull someone's name out and single them out for it and then use it for personal gain. I want to inform you and let you know. Think for yourselves. Make your own decisions. Don't get caught up in horse shit. And also that my title is built with love. That it's something that that's going to be of quality, and I put my emotion into that instead. And that's the difference. There's different types of creators. People that take their real life emotion and they put it into their work, and there's other people that take their real life emotion and they blast it all over social media and use their connects to spread this campaign, and then deliver you a book that you won't care about once all the dust is settled. You won't care about it. Um, and that's what'll happen if you get caught up in a trend, and then you end up supporting that kind of thing. You know, this isn't the end all for me. We have a lot of titles at Cornerstone Creative Studios that we're looking to release, and I'm definitely not going to give up. I have multiple um, options after this. If this crowdfund's unsuccessful, hey, it's a learning process. I'm going to get better at that part of it. You know, I've got the work down. The important part is down. The scripting, the storytelling, our artwork. My team is insanely talented. I've got that part down. The other stuff doesn't come naturally to me. The technology, the social media networking. I'm much better in my cave here, working on my projects and doing what I do here and working for the studio. So that's my strength, and the other stuff I have to work at. But I'm going to work at it because you guys are worth it. The work is worth it. We want to put this book in your hands and give you something that you'll be proud to have in your collection. Um, a lot of the works, excuse me, that we have are showcased in this book right here. We've got Cornerverse Coalition characters here on the cover. This cover was done by Joe Ramirez, who's a cover artist for our studio, and he's very talented. If you want to look at the quality of this here in the window, you can take a look. And up close, it's beautiful. It was inked by Austin Janowski, who's an IDW, was an IDW inker, and he is an actor. He's a very multi-talented guy. And this was also colored by Jason Smith, who's done tons of professional work. You can look him up, Comic Book IMDb. He was nominated last year at the Ringo Awards for Best Colorist, and he did this cover before he was nominated for them on another title. But you can see the quality of the work is on target. Um, so we've got that. What else have we got here? Oh, I've got a print that I drew here. I might be able to get you guys a better image of that. We can go in. This was finished up by our staff. It was inked by my boss, Jesse Hansen, who's a former Marvel inker, and then it was colored by Brian Arfel Magne. Now let's see if we get a picture here on the live stream for it. Yeah, here we go. There's an up close of the print that I drew. The guy's got me in shape, and I'm primarily a writer. Like so I'm not a professional artist, but as you can see here, I could pick out about 50% of projects on Kickstarter right now that aren't even able to deliver this level of quality. And I mean, I'm not even a professional artist. Like, I do layouts and concepts and things. Our guys are insane. It's just because our guys' talent is insane. Like, why do it myself at less quality when I can have my guys who are professionals do it at top quality? So I do layouts and things, and we do that to tell a better story, so that I can target the story and help make the visual match the literary side of it. And you know, our artists usually don't need that, but if they ask for it, I give that to them. And if there's a specific scene that we need to hit a note on, I'm able to draw and speak in a visual medium with them, and also speak to them and use the script, so we can get a story that's on target, that hits the note that we're looking for. So it's a skill that I've picked up, but I've got a couple finished pieces. I've got another one here. Let's see what else we got. So I'm gonna bring up my screen here and get you. Yeah, you might have to come close for it because I don't have a picture online of this new print, but it's one of the backer arts that I drew as well. Some of the images were used in the video. And again, like, my guys knocked this out of the park. This is my book team that did this with me. So this was inked by William Wolford, who's going to be on the title, and it's colored by Alessandro Torretta. I was very talented. And so we're excited to be able to present this project to you. I mean, like I said, we're a little behind now, but we could use your support on this project. We need this money for production. My number that I have here may seem a little bit high for a new creator, but our staff is our staff needs this number. 3,400 out of this is the number, and the rest is for back rewards, printing, shipping materials, shipping costs. So we're able to get that out to you. So you know, it's about making the story. It's not about money for me. Uh, I just want to make stories. I just want to keep writing. I love it. I love this medium, and and I want to continue to work in it, and I will continue to work in it. It doesn't cost me any money to write. I continue to pile up content. I have stuff on the back burner. I write because I love it, but ultimately this is about sharing it with other people who are fans of popular culture like me, who geek out on this stuff. And I'm going to be completely honest, I geek out on my own shit. Like, um, I create these characters so that I will enjoy writing them. This isn't garbage that I'm slapping together based on trends and shuffling it off to you guys to spend money on. This is my love of popular culture. This is a title that I love and I want to read myself. And something in the market, um, you know, the market has been unable to create something that hits the note for me in every way. And so I created it, is what the idea behind Hayward Saints 8 is that I created something that hits the note for me creative wise, and story wise. And then it's also built towards my strengths. I have multiple characters developed with backstories that are what I call weapons. They're in my toolbox. I can create story from them by mixing characters together, much like what was done on the X-Men titles, where you feature a different hero every time, and the other characters become a supporting cast. So we can get into that individual character's backstory and build an issue around it. All of the characters can stand alone on their own and have a title dedicated to their story with the other characters supporting them, um, which is great. All the characters are meaningful, and they have great personalities. There was a lot of work put into this title, so um, we're happy to be able to share that with you. But we do need backers so that we can ultimately get this to you. I'm wearing some of the backer rewards now. Let's see, and get that centered. Let's see if I get that camera on it. Oh yeah, yeah, we got the Mammoth Monk t-shirts, which were done by Dirty D's Accessories. You guys can get this in the backer rewards for the clothing rewards. And so, isn't that nice? It's got an embroidered sleeve too, just like the 8 here. My cap, this is one of the backer rewards as well. You get the Targeted 8 logo. The cap has a metal clasp. I've got another one here that shows the metal clasp on the back, with the adjustable strap. It's not cheap. It was embroidered. Let's see if I can get it really close. This is a special issue platinum color there, metallic, and then this is the blood red, which I wear every time. Targeted 8 logo. If you guys are wondering why the Targeted 8 logo, I mean, it's sexy, but like the Targeted 8 logo, because it's a symbol in the story. When these heroes attempt to complete their mission, um, they set out to attack targets that they feel are that make us a threat to ourselves, to stop us from destroying ourselves, and in the process they become a target by this a target of this supernatural evil that's in the book. And so it's kind of, that in itself is also a metaphor for and it's called federal offensive responders, that sometimes even when you're doing, you know, you feel like you're doing the right thing, you end up sticking your neck out and you'll become a target. Like, evil will seek you out. And you know, it's like the 7 deadly sins. Like, you know, there's envy and there's greed and there's you know, things that are prominent, but all of them will come into play eventually. um, uh, you know, will come into play eventually when you know, you start gaining traction, or you're trying to do something good, or you stand up for yourself against injustice. You know, the very core mechanics of being a hero. Yeah, sometimes, a lot of times, this is incorporated into, this is part of it. And so we get to represent that in the book, which I think is a lot of fun to write. And I love the logo. The title logo was done by The title logo was done by Ed Dukeshire, who's my letterer. And so this is our crowdfund. We've got our team here. You can see that. Please go and back us. I've got the link here. You'll be able to search us up on Kickstarter by searching Hayvard Saints 8. Here's the title right here. Hayvard Saints 8, Hayvard SAINT' number 8, and you'll be able to find our project. Let's see if we can. Oh yeah. Yeah. So that's our project. We can get the link in YouTube. I think the sound would just blast us, but we can try it. We could see if we can get the link in there. We can get the link in YouTube. I think the sound would just blast us, but we can try it. We could see if we can get the link in there. We can get the link in YouTube. I think the sound would just blast us, but we can try it. We could see if we can get the link in there. Hey buddy, we can get the link in YouTube. I'm done. I think the sound would just blast us, but we can try it. Done, buddy. We Love you. See. You're live right now, though. If we can get the link in there. Hey buddy, we can get the link in YouTube. I'm done. I think the sound would just blast us. I'm not done yet, but I'm almost done, buddy. We Love you. See. You're live right now, though. If we can get the link in there. Hey buddy, we can get the link in YouTube. I'm done. All right, there. We got the link in the YouTube, and so took me a second multitasking to try and get that. Yeah, I'm almost done, Charlie. And so we got that, and that's pretty much my project. And those are my thoughts on the market. You know, think for yourselves, though. You know, don't take my opinion. That's the overall message. You know, a lot of people want to ride these hate campaigns because they get popular. That personally, I want to be able to sleep at night, like, and I have kids, I have a family, and I'd like to be able to sleep at night. Like, I don't want my book associated with anything like that. Like, I'd much rather get by on my own merit, sink or swim. So that's my overall opinion of everything. I always think for myself. I don't need anybody to tell me how to think or what I think of industry. And so I'm very aware, and so we're just going to go with that. And thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate it. Please go back, Hayvard Saints 8. It's my passion. I wear my heart on my sleeve, and my heart and my soul are in this title. Please go and back it, and give us a shot to put this book in your hands and see what you think. I'm very interested in expressing myself and doing this title and getting it in your hands, so that you guys can, so I can have an opportunity to prove myself, and to tell this amazing story. It's my passion in life. So we're going to go ahead and end the stream. And thank you so much, all of you, for tuning in and for catching the playback. We appreciate it. Feel free to reach out to me on my social media. If you guys are interested or have any questions, or on the Kickstarter, like, I'm happy to answer any questions that you may have about the artwork or the creative process, or any part of it. Like, doors wide open. So thank you, and all of you have a good day.